Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ybot, and this is a relatively brief video to show you guys some AI starts in Civilization 5. And the way I've done this is I went into the advanced settings and I set up a random civilization to be my ally, and then I went through difficulties from Prince to Deity, just to see at least what sort of starting units they get. Once I get to Deity as well, I'm also curious about how quickly they expand. So, as you can see here on Prince, they just start off with exactly the same stuff you do, one warrior, one settler, no big deal there. Once you get higher as well, they definitely get some advantages that I've read about on Carl's guides and the Civ Fanatics forums and Civ Reddit as well. So we're just skipping along here. This time I've got Denmark as my ally. This is on King difficulty, and they get a second warrior this time. So that's what they get in terms of just raw starting units. They get a lot more less tangible benefits later on, such as tech boosts, production boosts, food boosts, etc. And we're speeding along here, moving on to Emperor now. And this is the Germans with 2 warriors and a scout and a settler, as opposed to just us getting 1 warrior and 1 settler. So for those of you who may be wondering how they find you on turn 10 or so, when they are halfway across the map and you've only had a scout for like maybe 5 turns at the most, that's how they start off with 1. So next we're moving on up to Immortal, and we'll see what sort of units the AI gets with that. Alright, so here we are on Immortal. I've got Arabia as my AI ally. They start with 1 worker, they start with 3 warriors, a scout, and of course a settler. So the important thing there is they start with a worker. They can start improving tiles right away. And based on the reading that I've done on Carl's guides, Civ Fanatic forums, and Civ Reddit, it seems to be fairly common knowledge among experienced Civ players that the AI does get free techs as well. So not when I'm playing with them, unfortunately, but yeah, more often than not they have they might have a few techs, like they might have animal husbandry or trapping ready to go, so they can go straight in and start improving those tiles as soon as they get them. Alright, and finally we're moving on to Deity here. So this is where the AI starts off with that second settler right out of the gate, which means they can settle a city by turn 10, settle their second city rather by turn 10. As for their units, it looks pretty similar to Immortal in terms of military units, but they do have those 2 workers as well, so they get a huge boost, and also I believe they have a tech head start. They have huge production advantages as well. They're ridiculously hard to beat at this level. Not because they're smarter, not because they play better, but because they're cheating little bastards. They cheat like crazy. They get so many bonuses and makes them extremely difficult to beat on this level. So, anyway, there are some advantages to that, because they will buy pretty much every luxury you want to sell them at this level, assuming that they don't already have it, of course, and strategic resources they'll buy for quite a bit too, because they've got their money and they kind of spend it like a bunch of morons. So, that is great. And also, one other thing. You can steal some of their settlers if they leave them unguarded, so I'm sure lots of you guys probably have figured out the little worker kidnapping trick to use on city-states. You can use that on the AI as well. You can use it on their settlers. I'm skipping ahead here to where they actually leave their settler unguarded inside a city-state's territory, and I just go ahead and kidnap them. And it's a little tricky to get that new worker unit there back to my territory, because I do have a empire that has more military units trying to get me at war with me. However, it's so early in the game they don't have archers yet, thankfully, so it's difficult for them to actually get enough damage in there, and I managed to bring them back successfully, and they actually sued for peace after a little while, because they're one of the less aggressive players, so that's great. It took me about 15 turns or so to get it back, but hey, that was a free worker that I got back. That was a big boost to me and a bit of a blow to Ethiopia there. Actually, it's a huge blow because it's one of their settlers. And I'm going to skip ahead here, and finally I'm going to show you guys where my ally gets their third city set up. So as you can see on the mini-map there, they've got 2 cities set up already, as does China, as does Persia. And I'm just skipping ahead here to about turn 48-49 area. I've finally got myself ready to move out my own settler. And as you can see again on the mini-map, the Indonesians have city number 3 all set up and ready to go. So they've got the core of a tall empire ready to go, just under 50 turns, and I'm just barely getting started here. So that is what you've got to deal with. Now, you can be tricky. You can screw around with them a little bit. You can try to kidnap some of their settlers and whatnot. But you do have to be careful with this because they have such a ridiculous advantage that they are ready to stomp your face into the dirt by turn 100 usually. So you need to keep that in mind when you're playing on Deity. In fact, on several of my attempted playthroughs on Deity, I've got stomped into the ground for literally looking at Brazil the wrong way, or kidnapping a unit from one of their cities that they have a protection, they have a pledge of protection for. So, literally, yeah, the AI will go to war with you for the smallest of offenses if they think that you're ripe for the taking on Deity. So, it makes it fairly difficult, and that's why I haven't succeeded yet. So, that pretty much sums it up for me, guys. I hope you found this video to be enlightening, regardless of which difficulty you're playing at or trying to play at. So now you know what the AI starts off with if you haven't played around in advanced settings and started with an AI partner, just for the heck of it. So anyway, guys, once again, I hope you found this video to be useful. Subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more stuff like this. And until next time, guys, see ya!